Ursula von der Leyen will be staying on as European Commission President. She's been re-elected by lawmakers at the European Parliament this Thursday. Von der Leyen has led the European Commission since 2019 as the first woman in the role, and she will now be serving out a second five-year term. A majority in the 720-seat legislature voted for the German Christian Democrat after a speech in which she pledged to be a strong leader for Europe in a time of crisis and polarization. Take a listen.
Russia is banking on Europe and the West going soft. And some in Europe are playing along. 2 weeks ago, a European Union Prime Minister went to Moscow. This so-called peace mission was nothing but an appeasement mission. This was a plain appeasement mission.
Joining me from Strasbourg is now our European Affairs editor, Armin Georgian. Armin, she's won the majority. She's now been re-elected, Ursula von der Leyen. But was this the formality that we expected, or were there some stumbling blocks?
It was definitely not a done deal, Jean-Emile. There was a lot of to and fro between the European Commission and Parliament in the last couple of weeks. Ursula von der Leyen meeting the main blocs in the European Parliament, doing this very difficult balancing act, trying to reassure each bloc that she would pursue at least parts of the agenda that they consider to be the most important to them and to their voters. It was obviously going to be impossible to satisfy everybody, but clearly, judging by the results, she did succeed in giving each bloc enough of what it wanted to hear and enough on the policy substance to clinch this vote actually quite comfortably. So she needed 461 votes. She needed 361 votes. She came out with 401, so with a 40-seat cushion, if you will. It was interesting to watch the reactions. Of course, a lot of smiles and pats and kisses on the cheeks and things like that. But the co-chair of the Greens, Terry Reintke, got a big hug from von der Leyen. And I think that shows that the support of the Greens was pretty crucial in this result. They're certainly taking credit for that. Now, we also have to understand that Ursula von der Leyen had this sort of pivot to the center and to the Greens in the negotiations, as I said, that preceded this vote in the last couple of weeks. And that move to the center, it did cost her some votes on the hard right. We know that members of the hard right ECR group, which is led by Giorgia Meloni, the Italian Prime Minister, although Meloni does not sit in the parliament here, but we know that a number of those ECR MEPs voted against Ursula von der Leyen, but clearly she found the kind of political center which was indeed enough in the end to give her this majority.
And now there's going to be all kinds of views on what Ursula von der Leyen will be looking to implement in her second term. She says that democracy and defending democracy is the most important topic now for her next mandate. But what next steps do we expect from the European Commission President?
Well, she's got to form the next European Commission. So the way that works is that national governments nominate their commissioner. And in fact, some of them have already done that. So Ursula von der Leyen then has to, based on those nominations, form her team, which is a tricky balancing act, just as her speech in Parliament this morning was, where she's got to balance political parties and gender as well. And also, what's interesting is that she announced this morning the creation of 2 new portfolios. So an EU commissioner dedicated to housing and the housing crisis. So this was part of her kind of, in a sense, push for these social policies, which were music to the ears of the centre-left in the hemicycle. And also, she announced the creation of a new European Commissioner for the Mediterranean, and this has to do with her whole line on migration. Part of her whole speech this morning was talking about how she's going to increase, actually triple Frontex, that's the EU's border and coast guard agency, and also greatly expand Europol to make it a kind of European police agency. So all this talk on migration, this focus on migration, is reflected also in this announcement of the creation of a post for the Mediterranean, a commissioner for the Mediterranean. We don't know yet who those two jobs will go to, housing and the Mediterranean, but that will obviously be part of this intricate play of kind of balancing different interests and different countries and different national governments when she does form her team. And then, of course, those commissioners, once they've been agreed on, they have to go up before Parliament here for confirmation hearings after the summer break.